Okay, so good morning. Talking about the $100 million leads by Alex Hormozi. And yes, you're welcome back. Today we're talking about how to get more leads through your existing customers. Mind you, because in the last chapter we spoke about how you can use other people's resources to get leads for your business. So let's get right into it. The first part is it spoke about is customers, because customers will always be your closest. They would always be me. In most cases, if you're working alone, they'll most likely be the first set of people you're interacting with. One, two, they've already bought from you, so there's a high chance they trust you already. And he explains how you can get the most out of customers, right? The benefits you get when customers help you to bring other customers. Sometimes it is called word of mouth, and word of mouth in any business is the most powerful force ever. So let me digress a little bit, right? I remember listening to a Simon Sinek conversation where he says, if you're from Germany, you're not friends with everybody in Germany, right? Because people have their own differences right there in Germany. But that is if you're living in Germany. But imagine you travel as far as China, you're German, and you come across another German, although there are differences, but the two of you identify as German. What that means is that, first of all, you have established a connection, right? And now imagine this. Imagine you're trying to buy a television and you're kind of debating which brand to go for. And you run into this German person who tells you, oh, please, don't bother, go for brand B. Knowing fully well that you're just by the fact of him having the same belief or the same identity as being German, the fact that he referred a second brand to him, he has used that brand and it's worth it. So bringing it back into this context now is that if a friend, somebody who you trust, somebody who has social credit, refers you, then there's a super chance that that person will bring in more customers for you. The person that you are referring to, or who is being referred, is already being sold. All just needs to do is swap his card. So he says that fine. The two main benefits that referring customers do is, remember this topic of lifetime gross profit and customer acquisition cost. Now, when your customers are referring you, you are basically increasing your lifetime gross product without any extra cost. You're increasing it. At the same time, you're reducing the cost. You're reducing the cost for acquiring your customers. Now you increase your gross profits because from that one customer, you're getting more customers. So that means is that the profit you're getting off customer A, who is bringing his friend, has actually increased. Now, regarding customer acquisition cost, because of you spent about maybe $100 to get customer A, customer B costs you $0. So what that means is that in the very end, if your business model allows you, you can split the customer acquisition cost between the customer A and then the customer B. Now, that being said, right, he says that there are like two major reasons that people do not get enough referrals. And mind you, he has a point that referrals scale to the moon. There's no limit to how much customers can refer your product, except you're doing something wrong, which I will address later in this video. So now, circling back is, he gave a formula for calculating what how much growth you're receiving, because when people are referring you, you have this compound growth. He said, what's your percentage of referrals? How many customers are referring you minus how many customers are dropping your products. No matter what you do, you would always find somebody who feels like the product is not for them. And you shouldn't feel bothered. Instead, it happens. So how many people are referring your product minus how many people are actually leaving your product will give you an idea of how healthy your business is and how compounding it is. Now, if the people that are coming into your business or who are being referred into your keyword here is referred, not through ads but referrals, if the people who are being referred are more than the people who are leaving, then you have a very good business. Keep it up. If they are equal, that means the people who are coming in are more are the same thing as people who are leaving. What that means is you may need to have to do more advertisements. But if the people who are coming in are way less than people who are going out, then to be very, very frank, you need to either run advertisements to break even, or you need to check your products. And it says that There are two major reasons why people don't have good referrals. And the two major reasons are: one, the product is not as good as they think it is in their head. And the second problem is that they don't even know how to ask for referrals. So the first part on having a very good product, right, is sorry, the first part that has to do with your product not being what it is in your head is because one, you need to have a very good product, as you all know today. Because there's always this argument in business, right? Attracting customers versus having a better product. Which would you prefer? One, I believe you should always have both. Have a very good product and still attract customers. But people like to tilt more to the other. It's not a question of debate, but in the very end, the product that has the best product, right? It's a very huge debate though, because the best products, right, may not be the ones to win in the end of the day. Sometimes it's the most distributed product that wins. Sometimes it's the best product. But the point is, the best product itself in any market condition would win. Would win in the sense that there are people who would go for it. It can never lose. The person who just has a lot of, what do they call it, has a lot of distribution at some point can miss the mark if the product is completely whack. That's why you need both of them. But if you have to pick only one, right, it would be best for you to pick the better products, because the better products would always continue to sell for itself. You need that snowball effect automatically. So when your product is not as good as it is, then there's a problem, because customers in their head, right? Customers refer products when the product have what is called a goodwill. A goodwill means that they gain so much from this product and they want to just share it out. Now, the formula for it, and according like Alex Hormozi, there's a mathematical formula to everything. And I like this approach in business where you want to track every single thing to know cause and effect and how they all come together, right? So when Alex Hormozi says that to get the goodwill of the customer, right, you have to look at the price they paid for it and the value you got out of it. So imagine somebody pays $1,000, right, for a particular product, and this product fetches him $100 million, bro. He's going to scream through the roof and give him goodwill. Obviously, this is like an exaggeration, but sometimes you mostly see people who, I'll say, they paid out $100 and they get like $1,000 to $10,000 a couple of months later. Now, that is a very heavy goodwill, because the price that was paid is way less than the value, right? And I think he also said that some people call this thing economic surplus. I think, no, customer surplus, where they feel like they like the service. So if you want to build up goodwill, because it's that goodwill that makes customers run to tell their friends, it says that there are two options you have, right? One is, you have different options. One, you can either to get the customers, right? For the goodwill, you can either reduce the price. But sometimes you may overdo this thing and then it backfires. Because sometimes you may have a very good product, but because it looks cheap, you might shoot yourself in the leg. So you have to play with this with caution. And sometimes if you even charge too low, people may not follow up through execution, because it did not push them further. It did not make them want to sell, or rather, they did not really have, because I bought courses that are just lying down there, and I've almost never logged into that page anymore, because I paid nothing. Probably bought it on Black Friday. So ever since, it's only about 2 courses I really have in mind. That may sound cheap, but I definitely want to take these courses. And that's because of the person who created them. I've seen his results and I've seen testimonials. And mind you, it's affordable, quite alright, but it was referred to me. That is why I have it in my list. When I'm done with this book, I would move over to that course, because I like to use the first hour of the day to study something that could improve my life drastically. So back to the stock is, you want to increase goodwill. First of all, you can drop the price, and apart from dropping the price, you can also try other things. You can also use other mechanisms to get what they call it, more goodwill by giving out more value. So because of the formula for goodwill is price minus value. You can either reduce the price so they get enough value, or you can increase the value and keep the price the same way. So what that means is that you should not make if you're selling the cost for $1,000, it's better for you to increase the value than for you to reduce the price. In my opinion, that's the best option. Although you can always look for the sweet spots depending on your business. So back to now is we are giving better value. There are different ways to say this, right? And then I like this his formula for creating offers where perceived likelihood, dream outcome, call out. He gives different techniques. The first one he gives is called call out. So imagine when you're calling people out, he wants you to call better people. But to be very, very frank, he gives too many ways. I feel like if you want to check it out, check it out. But I summarized this entire thing because he gave about, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 6 ways for you to actually increase the value. But I'll just tell you this. If you have sold already, because you already have customers, if you have sold already, look for what your best customers are doing that makes them stand out completely. They must do something. And it's like Pareto principle, right? If you bring 100 people into a room doing the same work, but 20 of them will be having the most insane results, or a few of them will be having the most insane results. Figure out what those people are doing that is different from the rest, and they will give you an answer into what you can do to make your product more valuable to other people. Make sense? So it's simple. Survey people, speak to them, know why it works for them, because to be very, very frank, no matter how good your product is, there are lots of factors to consider as to why your product might fail or why some customers will not get good results. Sometimes some customers don't get results because they are not even relatable with the person who's making the content. I literally have seen guys who have actually, okay, this is it, right? Someone took a course and did not get results, right? Why? He went and bought a course from somebody who replicated the first course, because it was like piracy, but very similar, very, very, very similar wordings. But things like this are very hard to contest. And he got results because of the relatability of the second person who literally dubbed the first person. So there are different reasons why people may not get results, but in such cases, in most cases, look for why the best people are having the best results. Figure out what are they doing. Now, when you figure out what they are doing that is different from the rest, you can take what they are doing and teach it to other people. That is how you increase value. That is how they begin to see you as someone who is different. You see? All of those 6 steps. So you can do this with the way you call out, right? You can do this when you're trying to help them paint their dream outcome. When you're trying to make them do less of what they don't want and do more of what they want and still get results. So all of this, just to say, if you increase the value, then you have a goodwill. Now, he also says that, fine, the first problem that businesses face is that they have a bad product. But in some cases, your products might be good, giving people good results, and they're referring people. And people are coming in. Now, another problem that some businesses face is they do not know how to ask for referrals. And he gives different approaches, right? One he says is, first of all, it won't be bad if you ask. Start with the simplest way. Asking a customer for, hey, please, would you know somebody who has this problem? If you're into weight loss journey, do you know anybody who else maybe who has this problem? Maybe he wants to lose some weight. He's probably looking at either getting married recent times, but if he has gained weight, or just pick something. Do you know any busy professional who is trying to lose weight, but because of his work ethic, finds it difficult? And the probably will know somebody, they will refer immediately. And one other technique he says, right, because asking for referrals is different for different industries. For example, now I think it was PayPal. When PayPal did their referral program, right, what they would do is, if you refer someone, they will give the referrer $10 and the referred $10. So by doing so, you have split the referral package to 2 people. And mind you, that is, if somebody refers 10 people, it's $100 he's getting, and you just spent $100 on the other set of people. So people will be very, very incentivized to actually go and refer you. They'll act as your robots. Let me just be sure. So it says that there are 3 components to a referral program, right? How you give your incentive, what you incentivize with, and how you ask. So how you give is actually important. What you give and then how you give it. Yeah, I ask rather. So there's a one-sided approach where, hey, help us refer somebody and you have this amount. Second approach is what I just explained to you right now, where you are rewarding both parties for actually coming into the service. The third option it gives is you can use it, you can tell them, you can ask them for a referral, immediately they buy. Which, to be very, very frank, I've been hearing is kind of like the best. And that also helps when you have given a very good first impression. If your impression is actually very, very good, then they are very, very likely to refer you as quick, immediately. See how this thing works? Because now they have purchased from you, right? Their minds are very fresh. They are very, 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 very fresh. And then you've created this nice impression. So that's why sometimes, although this can backfire, because I've literally heard a lot of these coaches talk about how you should just bombard them with the value immediately. To be very honest, I honestly feel, I don't know, because I haven't done this before, but I feel like it could just feel overwhelming to see these guys being bombarded. So I kind of feel like there needs to be a sweet balance, but basically, doing things like that, right? Other means is somebody buys maybe your program, maybe if it's a done with you service or something, and you are actively, aggressively trying to get things happen fast, holding their hands carefully. They have this feeling of, okay, this person wants to help them achieve their goal. It's not like the person is just after the money, it's after the results of the client. And that impression is so strong that they are going to go out there to refer somebody else, to bring somebody else into the fold. You see how all of this things make sense? Now, another approach says you can use it as a negotiation chip, right? So, say you sell a service of $400 or $400, and somebody is probably either is negotiating with you and tells you, oh, he has $300. Okay, what if you tell him, okay, bring your $300. I'll let you pay $300 for my service if you actually bring somebody else. Now, you can either give this other person $300, or they can either charge this person $300 or pay the person $400. And I remember when I used to manage a hotel, right? The hotel was basically family business. I remember how we used to give discounts. We give discounts based on the volume of people you're bringing. And we kind of find out that this trick I've noticed is when you give somebody discounts, right? Sometimes some interesting discounts, they want to go and bring their friends. Those their friends that they feel they are cheating the system, but in the very end, it's all psychology. I let you win so you can bring another friend. But this is a separate context because it's just using the psychology of, I'll say, in Nigerian, I don't say it's a Nigerian thing, but it's a basic thing. So maybe the room was 10,000 naira, and then he comes to me with some stupid stories, some stupid negotiation tactics. I give it to him for maybe 8,000 naira. He's going to come tomorrow and say, oh, he has this friend, yada. So now, depending on the business now, right, I know what to do next. If they're coming in by, I say late night, I know it's just to pass the night, right? So I know that half the cost of the room is already taken care of. They're already paying for like 6-10 hours. So it's a whole mindset thing where people believe that if they are getting a discount, right, it's also a way of negotiating with them. It's also a way of them going to bring people in. And trust me, because I digressed. I took that family business from about maybe a 4 million naira per month to an 11 million naira per month. 11 million. Now, this is about almost 3 times this thing, right? And to this day, everything I did was focused on one customer journey, building a proper customer journey, building a proper customer experience. And no, it was mostly on customer experience and getting them to refer other people. And trust me, referral works like mad, precisely in a hotel. And mind you, this hotel had nothing new, nothing special. The same equipment, the same staff. That's why I feel like all of these things, I feel like hotels are things that I think I want to go into later in the future, because the secret of the hotels have nothing to do with the equipment. They have more to do with the people, the energy, the environment. So back to these places. Then you can also host referral events where you tell people, oh, maybe it could be Black Friday or something. Telling people to that they can get what they call it, discounts, credit, and everything if they refer people within a particular period. It's an event or on a particular day. It can be a Black Friday deal. It can be a maybe end of year deal, but something that there's a limit to it. But you tell people to refer people in that period, and then they only get that gift if they come to that period. So that's it. Those are the two. Those are the major ways. The rest I don't really buy, or I just don't have them in my head. I'm only giving the ones that I feel stuck to me and things that I may want to experiment with in my own business. So mind you, for those of you who are not aware, I run a startup, but it seems like I may have to find alternative ways to fund the startup. To be very, very honest, and one thing I think I can do is maybe, I don't know, I'm still there to figure out how to monetize this. So, or since I'm documenting everything, my still remain the journey. Then it says, now, what you give is also very important, right? Because if you make t-shirts, for example, you can give out a limited edition of a t-shirt because magically, well, people might want t-shirts, but if you're into IT services and you're giving out t-shirts, there is not a guarantee that the shirt you're giving out will be responsible for bringing in more customers into the business. Like it doesn't guarantee that you get more IT services. But if you are somebody who makes t-shirts and you're giving out some t-shirts based on referrals, now that makes sense. So, in conclusion, what it says is getting customer referrals are not things that you really do. It's slightly out of your control. Can you influence it? Yes, you can influence it, but they are more in the control of other people than in your own control. And that was why he never put this into the first part of the book that spoke about you getting leads. No, he put it elsewhere where other people help you to get leads. Maybe OPL. As you have OPM, other people's money, you also have OPL, other people's leads, or OPE, other people's effort or energy. You basically get the point. So let me see. So yes, when customers are referring to other people, right? There's this idea that they don't want to risk what is called maybe their social goodwill, or they don't want to risk their friendship with the other person. So that means is that you have to put in the work. You have to make it feel like it is completely risk-free. You have to take up that risk from them because, like I said, they don't want a situation where they refer your product or your service and it's a complete and total disaster. It is going to backfire at them. So they want to make sure that how you can basically do this is to make sure that your product keeps getting better, because there's no such thing as a perfect product. Keep iterating, keep improving on that product. So when they refer it to the next person, because take it or leave it, right? It is one thing for you to have, which I think I skipped. It's one thing for a referee or it's one thing for a referred person to have this expectation in his head, and you do not meet that expectation, then there's a very big problem. Now imagine you're going to see a movie, right? No, imagine you're going somewhere, maybe to the movies, and a friend tells you, "Oh, don't watch movie A, watch movie B instead. It's insane, it's thrilling." And you got to watch movie B and discover that movie B is a complete disaster. Do you know how demoralizing that is? There's a high chance you will never trust that person's judgment whenever it comes to movies again. You will always if you brush the person aside, you will always let it slide. So what he's saying here is, make your product better. If you keep making it better, keep iterating, people will be much more guaranteed to actually refer that product. Also, he gave this thing of, if your product, right, requires different deliverables at multiple intervals, don't drop it at once. Drop it periodically. And Alex is very good in this. This is his, I guess, second volume of this. First was a $100 million offer, now a $100 million lead. I think right now he has a $100 million scaling. But the point is, as you're slowly releasing this, and also you're informing customers on new updates, giving them this, you're following them in your journey, you're taking them along in what you're doing. It has this idea of them believing that, oh, this guy is actually making his stuff better. And even though they're taking your course already and they're perfect, but them knowing that you are actively improving the products will also boost their motivation to want to go and refer the products. Mind you, Sometimes you may wonder, sometimes, right? If your product is very good, why they would end up referring your product? It's not because they want to make you some money, no. Sometimes it is for their bragging rights. It's for them to say, oh, I referred this my friend to this product and he's completely loving it. It's just a way of them stroking their own ego. So you shouldn't overcalculate or overthink this thing because it's not going to go anywhere, but have that feeling and understand that you'll get there. Basically, you'll get there. So all that thing says is, the last part is that if you want people to actually build that goodwill for you, you have to make sure that you deliver on your promise. Speaking about promises, there's some approaches people take to promises, right? You can either over promise and under deliver. But I believe my best approach is over promise and over deliver. But to some people, they rather under promise and over deliver, which kind of feels like it's still okay, because if you get people with that expectation, right, when you under promise and over deliver, what happens is people are wild, they are completely insane, and that is a way of them running to refer their friends. But you're only reducing the amount of customers you can get. But if you can over promise and over deliver, then you're getting more people for the fact that you over promised, and you're getting more people because you still expected this. I feel that's a very good formula. Think of how you can promise and think of how you're delivering and bring everything together. You can over promise and over deliver. And trust me, this sounds difficult, right? But I always say that the most money is made when you break limitations, when you break constraints. That is when real money is made. When you because if you over promise and under deliver, complete disaster. When you under promise and when you under promise over deliver, very good, but less people. But over promise, more people. Over deliver, more people, more leverage. So guys, that's about it. It says you should figure out how you can increase your referrals by increasing the goodwill your customers have towards you, how you can give them more value for what they pay for. So thank you very much. I guess we'll be seeing tomorrow regarding this book. I have to prepare a document for a client. At the same time, get ready for my MMA. Let me just know in the comment section, what do you think? What do you think about all of this? Are you getting value from it? Are you enjoying this? Because I said I'm enjoying it. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.